remember that or not. Just to give you a quick update from that ministry that I was a part of. I showed a video a few years ago here about a little orphanage. Had about a dozen people, and they wanted to eventually build a school for underprivileged kids in Indonesia. And I just wanted to report to you that this orphanage that had about a dozen kids in, that this pastor had a heart for, we were able to raise funds and build a school, and it now has over 250 kids. Most of them are underprivileged. They cannot afford to go to school. Those that can afford to go to school pay for those who cannot go to school. As a result, we were also able to help him buy a building where he could start a church or have a church. And the church went from about 2 families, 6 or 8 people, and it's now up to close to 150 people as a result from the school. And some of you helped support that. And so I just wanted to give you an update on that, and thank you for that. How many of you know what ERDO stands for? 1. How many of you have ever heard of ERDO? A few, okay. ERDO stands for Emergency, Relief, and Development Overseas. It's part of the Pentecostal Assemblies of Canada, part of our denomination. We work with the missionaries. We are actually the agency that provides the humanitarian relief for our missionaries to do the spiritual. Okay, without ERDO, our missionaries, our PAOC missionaries, or global workers now as they like to be called, they would be severely handicapped in being able to reach out to families and communities. I have a little video that'll explain some of this. If you want to go ahead and hit it in 2 secs. 1, 2, maybe 3 secs. Okay. Okay. Actually, before he starts, I have a question. Who knows the 8 deadly sins? 8 deadly sins. Okay. There is pride. There is lust. There is laziness. Okay. There is anger. Sloth. Yeah, sloth. There is gluttony. There is greed. And the last one is forgetting your spouse's anniversary. So, but it's a deadly sin, but you have confessed. So you have been redeemed depending on the gift that you provide. Okay, are we ready? Okay, go ahead.
In the world that existed over 40 years ago. We don't eat the same food. We don't buy the same clothes. Communities have grown. Cities have changed. The world has become a much bigger and a much smaller place. But some things never change. Over 40 years ago, images of children stick thin and sobbing grabbed the world's attention. Famine was declared in Ethiopia, and the Pentecostal Assemblies of Canada responded out of a passion to recklessly love those Christ loves, the poor, the vulnerable, and the hungry. ERDO was created to respond to disasters, to build up communities and lift families out of poverty, to educate children who have only known hunger and empower them for a brighter future, to meet people's most basic needs, to sit with the poor, to be present in suffering and grief, to follow the Holy Spirit into the complexity of our world and to bring biblical justice to families in their time of need. Our mission hasn't changed. For over 40 years, your hearts have been moved to help us bring food, clean water, and shelter to families through community development, crisis response, and child sponsorship programs. You have helped us respond to disasters that have changed our world, like the HIV epidemic in East Africa, the Indian Ocean tsunami, the devastating earthquakes in Haiti and Turkey. You have enabled us to bring relief during wars in Yemen, the DRC, and Ukraine. You have helped care for refugees in Uganda and Bangladesh. You have increased the amount of food families are able to produce in Haiti and Zimbabwe and brought clean water to Cambodia, to name a few of the places we've reached together. You have made a difference in our world. And ERDO has grown from a small department of the PAOC shipping containers of grain to Africa and South America to a top 100 Canadian charity, working in almost 50 countries across over 120 projects every year. Our first 40 years has brought us and the people we serve incredible joy. These years have brought God glory as He delights in His people's compassion, in children being fed, in mothers being empowered. Now, we're looking forward to another 40 years of not only doing good, but being in the world for good. We're here for the long haul, with eternity in mind and the good of communities as our focus. Thank you for your continued support to fulfill our time-tested mission.
Last year alone, we helped over 300,000 people around the world, involved in over 100 and some projects, 100 and some different places in the world. Some of the examples that we have, and we have a brochure in the back. I'd like you guys to take one today, if you can, just to read up on us, understand who we are. This is part of our denomination, and it's something that is not known very well. Okay, we are one of the top 100 charities in the country. How many charities do you think there are in the country are registered? Take a guess. Over 85,000. And we're one of the top 100. That's pretty good stuff, okay? So we have recognition. We have, we are just good. Okay, I'm sorry, we are good. Part of the Pentecostal Assemblies of Canada, we are good. We are, I was just talking to a gentleman from Honduras. I forgot your name. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'll never get that. Okay. In Honduras alone, okay, we are feeding over 700 children on a daily basis. You know, little small children. We have put in over 100 and some bio-sand filters so they can have clean water. Okay, that's just in Honduras. In Haiti, we are giving food and supplies to over 500 kids a day. In Malawi, we have empowered women to start a microfinance program. We are doing good, okay, for the purpose of not just being nice, but for the purpose of sharing the gospel. We have just under 8,000 children that are being sponsored daily around the world through our child sponsorship program, okay, called Child Care Plus. Child care is food, shelter, water, education. The plus is giving them spiritual enlightenment to be able to share the gospel with them and their family. That's what our global missionaries do. They do that part, but they can't do that unless ERDO was there providing the food and the water and the shelter. For those, we do conservation, we do agriculture, we do microfinancing programs, we do child sponsorship, we do training for farmers and helping them supply with food. And later on this month, I'm going to be sending the church a QR code, okay, and maybe some brochures depending on the postal strike of our annual gift catalog, where you can buy some chickens, some bunnies, you know, for a family, and not just for them to just eat once and go, but we help provide the chickens or the bunnies or whatever and teach them how to start a business with those, how to cultivate and train and follow through on them so they can start providing for themselves. Okay, we do job training. Have you ever heard of the country Burundi? Okay, it's in East Africa, classifies one of the 10 poorest countries in the world. Just under 60% of the children are malnourished under the age of 5. And through that, over the last decade, we've been able to empower over 6,000 women to start their own business, become entrepreneurs, so they can provide for their families. Okay, similar projects are taking place in Zimbabwe, other African countries, some of the Asian countries, by giving them small loans and business training so they can earn incomes for their families. This is what ERDO does. We're doing good. A couple other things that we just recently been doing. We set up 40 wells in Bangladesh. Did you know in Bangladesh, most of their surface water, or not most of it, but yeah, most of it, has arsenic in it. So, and that's what a lot of the families, that's all they can drink. So we've been able to install 40 wells. You know, it's just a small drop in the bucket, so to speak, for a country that size. We're setting up new equipment for health centers in Kenya, you know, and the list goes on and on and on and on. But I think that you get the idea. Today's Thanksgiving, or this weekend's Thanksgiving. And what better way to give thanks, and that is to do good. That's what we do at ERDO, we do good. Matthew chapter 5:16 says, "In the same way, let your light shine before others, so they may see your good works and give glory to your Father who is in heaven." I have a story. In August, my wife and I, we live in Edmonton, and we were driving down to visit a friend who nicely was doing good and was inviting us for dinner. And on the way, we hit what you may call a pothole. And I'm sure some of you know what a pothole is, okay? We really know what a pothole is in Alberta. And I had the pleasure of hitting one of them. And it popped the tire. And I was on a bit of a hill. And I'm like, oh. So pulled over quickly and got out, you know, the jack and the spare tire, that little useless thing that they give you. And I was starting, and all of a sudden I looked, and at the bottom of the hill, about, I don't know, a block away or so, there was this young man running up the hill. And he's hollering, can I help you? Can I help you? Can I help you? Just wait, I can help you. And I'm like, what? So I was still starting to change the tire, and he comes on up, and he's, can I change that for you? And I went, be my guest. Okay, nice, young, strong man. I'm this old, flustered old man. And he started to change the tire, and he goes, yeah, I'm from Manitoba, and my family said if you ever see someone in need that you should stop and help them. And I'm like, oh, good. He goes, I used to work at a tire shop, so I can have this done in a minute. And he did. He had record time. He had that tire off and put on that little useless thing and put my other tire in the back. And he goes, And I said, where'd you come from? And he goes, oh, well, I saw you pull over. And so the only place I could stop was just down the hill around the corner. Now, that was about at least 3 blocks away down a hill. And he stopped about 3 blocks away, pulled over, and ran all the way up just to help me. He did good. Okay? He came up, so he got in the car, and we drove him back down to his car. That's where we're amazed how far it was. And he got out, and he said, thank you, and he went on his way. And my wife sat there, and we went, wow, that inspired us so much. He's got to be a Christian. We didn't ask, and we should have. He didn't mention anything. And maybe he should have. Okay. But anyway, that just lifted our spirits from what was you gotta be kidding me, into a wow, there's people like this on earth still, and they're doing good. Okay. Let me repeat what ERDO does. We're the humanitarian agency for the PAOC. Through emergency relief, we give hope and assurance that God has not forgotten them. You know, when people are in war and they're feeling hopeless, ERDO comes in with emergency relief food and funds, and working through our PAOC and global workers, we're able to provide hope. Through our development, we provide a positive change to a community, giving dignity and pride so people can live a more fruitful life. And when we come in and we help them and we say, hi, we want to help you start a business. We want to help you grow. We'll give you training. We'll give you resources to get you on your feet and make something for your family and you, so you can have pride in your life, which results in them being open to the gospel. Why are you doing this? You know, because we want to do good. And of course, through our child sponsorship, we show love and value to each child that may be orphaned or as a result of a war, a famine, whatever. We show love and value to each child by giving them the security and the confidence that God sees them, God is with them, and God knows them by name. Value. That's why ERDO was created, providing humanitarian needs, practical needs, laying the groundwork for our global workers and Christian partners to fulfill their spiritual needs. In short, we open the door so the gospel can be shared. Galatians 6:10 says, "So then, we have the opportunity. Let us do good to everyone, especially to those who are of the household of faith." I recently spoke to a pastor in Edmonton. That's where I'm from. Used to live in Surrey, but anyway, we're not there anymore. And this pastor said, "We are here to be open to the hurting, the wounded, the broken, the bruised, and we are to open our arms to those that need the love of Jesus, demonstrated in practical ways." I used to own a gas station in Port Moody, BC. And the gas station had a Tim Horton outlet in it, which I owned as well. And every Friday night, or most Friday nights, I would take our leftover donuts. And on a Friday night, I'd say I'd probably 6, 7, 8 dozen donuts. And I would package them up and go downtown Vancouver. And on Hastings Street, and I would pass out donuts. I got to be known as the donut man, or the donut guy. People would scream. Actually, I would sit there, and all of a sudden, I'd come down, and all of a sudden, I hear people go, "The donut guy's here, the donut guy's here." And people just come out of the woodwork, out of the back alleys, and they would come and they'd give them a donut. And I remember one guy, he goes, "Why are you doing this?" I said, "Because I want to give you a donut. Do you want a donut or not?" And he goes, "Are they clean?" And I said, "What do you mean, are they clean?" He goes, "Well, you have them sitting in a box like this, like because I had a plastic garbage bag kind of lined on this thing." And I said, "Of course they're clean. What? I'm not going to give you something clean?" And he goes, "Well, some people, they give us just garbage, and it looks like garbage." And I said, "Well, this isn't garbage. This is a perfectly fresh donut. Do you want one or not?" And he goes, "Yeah." So he got a donut. And he goes, "Why are you doing this?" Like, he just kept asking, "Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this?" And I said, "Because you're a creation of God, and God loves you, and I'm a Christian, and I just want to tell you that God loves you and he cares about you." And he goes, "Oh, okay." And he walked away, okay? I'm hoping I did good, going around helping these people. One guy, he was sitting, so sad. He was sitting and in the park, and I walked by, and I went, "Do you want a donut?" And he goes, "Just a minute." And he's shooting himself up with a needle. And he goes, "Okay, what did you ask?" And I said, "Would you like a donut?" "Yeah, can I have a chocolate? Do you have any chocolate?" And I said, "Yeah, I got a chocolate one here." And I gave it to him, and I sat down, and I said, "So, what are you doing down here?" And we had about a half an hour conversation where he poured his life out to me, okay? From a donut, from me giving a donut. I heard his whole life, and I was able to pray for him, tell him that Jesus loves him, had not forgotten him, okay? I hope I did good, okay? I just did something. I know that you had the feeding program here at the school in the past. You were doing good, shining some light into some kids that, like, why are they doing that? Okay? Now, I understand that it has stopped at the moment, but still, whatever you do, you do for the glory of God. What doors are you opening by doing good? What have you done good in this last year, in this last week? And I don't mean being nice. I mean doing good with the purpose of being able to show the light of Jesus to someone. Okay, what are you doing by doing good? What are you doing to lower barriers and resistance to the gospel? What are you doing that results in the openness of receiving the gospel or strengthening the faith? As Hebrews 13:16 says, do not forget to do good. About 3 weeks ago, I was listening to a Christian radio station. Don't ask me where it was or anything. I can't remember all the details because I was driving, so I had to concentrate on that. But there was a man, I'm assuming it's a young man, maybe not, okay, I'm not sure what city it is, but he lived in an apartment building with an elevator. And the elevator was broke. And he was thinking, you know, there are a lot of people in this building that can't go up and down these stairs. A lot of seniors, a lot of people that have physical disabilities. You know, and I think must have been broke more than just an hour or two. I think it was for days, because he put a sign up on the wall, and he said, if you need assistance to take your garbage out, to pick up some food, to deliver your mail, please call me. And he put his phone number down. He was doing good. He's willing to take the time and the effort to help people in need to show the light of Jesus. 1 Timothy says we are to do good. What does it mean to do good? I looked it up in the Oxford Dictionary, and it says to act virtuously, especially by helping others. Now, I'm not a reader, so I had to look up the word virtuously. What does virtuously mean? I kind of know, but whatever. And the word virtuously means to act in a way that demonstrates good moral qualities, high ethical standards, and righteous behavior. Another definition says that doing good is performing actions that benefit people other than oneself. In short, to do good is to perform acts of kindness and service that demonstrates God's love, mercy, and grace. In Isaiah 1:17, it says, learn to do good. But the rest of the verse says, learn to do good, seek justice, correct oppression, bring justice to the fatherless, and plead the widow's case. As I mentioned in 1 Timothy 6:18, it says we are to do good. The full verse of 1 Timothy 6:18 says we are to do good, be rich in good works, be generous and always ready to share. That means we should be, as followers of Christ, be willing at all times to be willing to share our time, our resources, our expertise, our efforts, our availability. Doing good is showing compassion and kindness. That means being generous with your kindness, empathy, compassion, especially those who are struggling, especially those who have little hope, especially those that are just looking for something to grasp onto in life. Titus 3:14 says, let our people learn to devote themselves Let our people devote themselves to good works, as to help cases of urgent need and not be unfruitful. I spoke a lot about ERDO, and that's what we do, is we try to do good, and you're a part of it. It's part of the Pentecostal Assemblies of Canada. As a reminder, I'm going to say again that through emergency relief, we give hope and assurance that God has not forgotten them. Through development, we provide positive change to a community, giving dignity and pride, and be able to live a more fruitful life, which results in them having an openness to the gospel. Through our child sponsorship program, we show love and value to each child by giving them the security and confidence that God sees them, is with them, and knows them by name. Through ERDO, we provide humanitarian needs, practical needs, and we help lay the groundwork for our global workers and partners to fulfill their spiritual needs. In short, ERDO opens the doors for the gospel to be shared. In your life, by doing good, you open the door for the gospel to be shared to your neighbors, to your friends, to your enemies. We have a Christmas catalog that's going to be coming out, as I mentioned, And if you want to sign up to make sure that you get a QR code or a link, online to the catalog, please come and put your name at the back. If you're interested in sponsoring a child for $41 a month, I have a handful, I think I have about 20 people from different parts of the world. There are right now children of all ages that need to be sponsored. Come and see me and we can sign you up. Do good. Be thankful. Everything's God's anyway. Okay? So why try to hang on to it? If you're thinking, oh, I have no money, I can't do anything, well, I got news for you. You can put something in your will. Okay? Designate a portion, through our legacy program. Okay? Do good. I heard one gentleman say the other day, he goes, you should be giving while you're living, so you're knowing where it's going. Okay, and that makes so much sense. Okay, so we have that to offer as well. Thank you for letting me come. Sorry I missed Pastor Lance. I'll be giving him a call. I graduated with him from Bible school, so it's not like I don't know everything about him. I might know a little more than you do, but I'm under a seal. But God bless you. Come see me at the table at the back. There's more information on the different programs. We have the crisis response in Yemen. We have microfinancing going on right now in Zimbabwe. We have the feeding program in Honduras. We have dozens. And also invite you to check out our website and find out the whole list. And you'll be proud of what ERDO does and what the Pentecostal Assemblies of Canada has put together. Thank you.